Benito from sunny Barcelona. Our software helps museums, retail stores, events, banks, etc. integrate proximity technology into their apps. After the webinar, we'll give you a discount code for 1 month free, and it's just 15 euros after that. So we do know that there is a learning curve to any new technology, so we just want to offer as much support as we can. And our hope is that in this 30 minutes, you'll not only be inspired by the potential of beacons, but you'll feel just about ready to launch your campaign. So again, you're more than welcome to leave questions, and we'll also make the presentation available via SlideShare afterwards via email. And yeah, so just let me pull up the presentation here. Screen share, there we go. So yeah, just kind of an overview of what we'll cover. Just give you guys an introduction here. Beacon basics and best practices, beacon troubleshooting, dashboard overview, setting up a campaign, and then we can do an FAQ at the end, or I have some other topics to cover too if we have time. That's it. Some of you may have been using our platform for a while, and others may be experts in beacons but never used our platform. So the hope is that there's something for everybody here. If you're more interested in learning about beacons or learning about beacon platforms, ours in particular, I won't be offended if you zone out for either half. But the first half is for just more of an introduction to beacons and beacon campaigns in general. So let me just switch slides here. Sorry, the slide will lag a little bit behind me, but here we are. So what are beacons? A beacon is basically an indoor positioning system. Apple calls them a new class of low-powered, low-cost transmitters that can notify nearby iOS 7 or 8 devices in their presence. Also works in Android too. The technology enables a smartphone or similar device to perform particular actions when near this Bluetooth device. And unlike Bluetooth in the past, which was just an absolute vampire for energy, these take just a few % a day. So who's using them? Big companies from Virgin Airlines to Starbucks to McDonald's to we just wrote an article about GE and their new lights that transmit messages and phones send messages back via Bluetooth. A lot of big brands are developing this technology and using it themselves. And a lot of obviously smaller and mid-sized brands as well. Many know beacons mostly for their retail functionality, but we've worked with banks, we've worked with concerts, we've worked with museums. There's a lot of organizations that are getting involved with beacons that got involved in 2014 and even more so in 2015. So just to kind of share some beacon stats to back that up, the IHL group conducted a survey, and that only 10% of the top brands that tested so far, 37% of big retailers in the US will launch by the end of the year. And that's just in the US. We have clients in 23 different countries. Forbes also noted that beacons will be involved in 4 of 5 trends that all brands will be using by 2020, including showrooming, which is sending out information to entertain visitors, much like museums do, also analytics, mobile payment, and even using the technology as a sales assistant. Business Insider noted that this year, $4 billion is expected to be a direct result of beacons, and that will climb tenfold in 2016 to $40 billion. So that kind of shows a little bit about why they're so exciting, but basically there's just so many different ways they can be used. You can send a coupon to attendees that follow you on Twitter and are in your sports stadium's particular section. You can promote the first chapter of your best-selling book when a client enters your bookstore. You can give visitors your V-card 10 minutes after leaving your conference room. The possibilities are endless. Just a cool specific example, Pizza Hut different parts of California these next couple months is letting people order pizzas from their car, and when the car gets to the parking lot, a beacon in the car will notify them to bring out the pizza, which is pretty cool. And hopefully it'll be appearing in Barcelona very soon too. So as with any new technology, there are some concerns, from security to privacy to spamming. And of course, in general, people have to be using your app, have Bluetooth turned on, which many outside the US aren't doing as much, but that's changing. Because people are realizing that it doesn't drain quite as much energy. So how can we implement them effectively with that in mind? Don't send 1,000 messages. Don't send obvious spam with no benefits. Always, always, always give value. And educate about Bluetooth low energy. As I was saying, it takes a lot less now. It can take maybe 2 to 5% of battery power if left on for 24 hours, depending on the phone. And educate that you are not that you're offering value and that you're not taking the privacy. Beacons don't take information; they just send information. Finally, rather than building it internally with developers who aren't used to beacons, use a secure, well-known platform one that takes privacy and security seriously. Ask what they're built on. Is there a REST API? What kind of authentication system they have? How often they check for bugs? How often they're updating it? Ask the right questions. Have a developer ask them if you need to, but make sure you're using a really solid platform. So next we have beacon troubleshooting, and again, if there's any questions, you can put them in the chat, and I can get to them now. Or later. You can raise your hands if you can't hear me, or if you have a question and you can't seem to get the chat going. So, beacon troubleshooting, here we go. I think that should be up for you right now. Yeah, sometimes it's quite discouraging if your beacon isn't working. So I just wanted to give you all some troubleshooting tips, and again, this will be in your email before we dig into the platform itself. In general, one of several of these is the culprit, but sometimes but sometimes it can be the beacon themselves. You want to be working with a well-known beacon manufacturer, just like the software that you're using. You want them to be just a really good company that suits your needs, and perhaps is located somewhat close to you. And we can recommend several based on your location and your different needs. But yeah, just to kind of read through these, there should be 3G, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth should be enabled, shared connection should be disabled. Yeah, you can take a look at these later, but one thing is to really make sure the UUID, which is a very long identifier, it matches the UUID of the beacon, what's in the dashboard. This is pretty key. So, dashboard overview. We have I'll show you this in a second. We have campaigns, which configure the interactions that will happen in the user's devices. We have points, configure the interest points where the beacon will be installed. Reports, analytics is really crucial for using beacons or proximity marketing. And this is where you can get that data and improve your campaigns for next time. Profile, you configure all the main settings of your account and wake up all devices. Get a lot of questions about this, but basically it sends a signal to all the mobiles with the app installed to download new campaign content if you're sending something out. Only use this if you know what you're doing. So, setting up a campaign, here we go. Let me just jump into the screen share of moving tracks right here. Oh, that's not it. Here we are. So this is it. And we have, as I was saying, the campaigns, the points, the reports, the profile, and wake up devices. And I'll just kind of, I just went through those. So here we can just go step by step. Like I was saying, first step is to set up your beacons. You can see the troubleshooting slide. Make sure you have the right major, the right minor. And we do give you a demo app if you're working with us to test it out. And you can find the UUID right in your profile. Let me just pull up that. So yeah, should have it all there. All the information that you might need, UID, API key, API secret if you need that, and your social profiles there as well. So next step, create a zone and assign a point to a zone. Points are here. Here's the zone. New zone, zone name, sunny Barcelona. And I should note here that you can just use geofence now with our platform. Scroll out here. So if you don't want to use beacons, you can. It's not quite as accurate, and we have a post. I can talk a little bit more about at the end if you guys want me to. But we have a post about when you should use geofence versus beacons. But sometimes you don't need the hardware, and you don't need them to have Bluetooth turned on. You can just use this zone. So I would make the zone a little bit bigger than you normally would, just to make sure, because again, it can be a little bit less accurate than beacons. Here we go. Yeah, there we go. Save zone. So that's there. Create a point, new point. The sun, why not? One zone, sunny Barcelona. And we have the major and minor. Let me just check, make sure. Yep, 1 and 1. Save point. You can add other beacons here too if you have them. So that's it. You have the zone and point created. And next step is to create your campaign. So click on the campaigns. We have a few here right now at the moment. Just pull out my phone here, just so I can show you when we're finished. New campaign. Barcelona. Set from yesterday. And tomorrow we also have, you can get NFC tags. You can buy them through us, or if you have your own, you can have campaigns with NFC tags too. We'll do once every 2 minutes. You can make that whatever you want, or you can just make it once, or in days if you want to. Or you can do it in the background if you want to. And so triggers is what the user has to do for the action to take place. So we can select the zone here, sunny Barcelona. We're using the campaigns with beacons. Again, you don't have to use beacons, but if you are using beacons to make it more accurate, here's where you put them. There's our linked points of the sun. You can do proximity, far, near, immediate. Perhaps you want to have an immediate if they're checking out or something like that. Enter, exit. And there you go. You can have other triggers too if you want to. We'll just keep it simple. We have 16 different actions you can take. And yeah, you can even visit a custom URL and have that open up another application, for example. So there's an infinitesimal amount of options you have here. And you really want to think through to effectively use them. Maybe you don't want to make it too complicated, but again, you can show a survey to someone who just left your event and who liked your Facebook page. That can be one of the triggers that gets this action going. You can have them post an image to a social profile. Yeah, there's just a lot of different options you have here. But we'll just keep it very simple. Show an alert. Hola. Hi there. Amigos. Finish. Save and activate campaign. See if I can show you it. Might take a second here to pull up the phone. Yeah, it might take a minute here. Again, for those of you who have just joined us, you can write in questions. You should be able to. If not, you can raise your hand and I can try and work on that. But chat should be enabled if you do have any questions. We will have an FAQ in a few minutes here. Yeah, I just turned on the phone, so it may take a second. While we're waiting for it, I can dig into the analytics here. We do have the other section that you really want to get a good grasp of so you can improve your campaigns. Here you can see the total deliveries of the different campaigns. You can see the points you have set up, different information there. Number of visits, average visit length. Different zones you have, average visit length here as well. The coupons, which ones are used, which ones are invalid. The survey here too. If you ask them a survey, the answers will come here. So yeah, pretty solid analytics, and you can really assess your KPIs in here. Yeah, so if there's any questions, now's a good time. There's a couple other things I can talk through as well. Just pull up the presentation here. Just what we made it through. Hopefully you feel ready to launch a campaign now. It's really fairly simple, but the more you delve into it, the better you get at it, the better it's going to be for your users. So if you guys would like, I can dig into geofencing a bit more, or the privacy, what's important about protecting user privacy, or using PhoneGap to create applications. Okay, well, I'll dig into each one briefly here. So now we allow you to link a campaign to geofence, beacons, or both, as I was mentioning. And the geofence is the geographical zone that you guys would be able to define virtually, like we did with the zone in the zone section. And using the geofence with MoveAndTrack's dashboard allows you to send messages, content, or interactions, even if people don't have Bluetooth turned on and you're not using the beacon hardware. And you can refine who's getting those even further. It's the same triggers, the same actions as you would do with a beacon campaign. So that's that. It can be pretty exciting. Again, it's not quite as accurate, so it's better to use both if you can. But it is great if you're just trying to start something up and just want to get something going immediately. You can do that. So privacy, it's really crucial here to stress that you take users' privacy seriously. That's one of the main concerns with beacons, that they're going to take someone's personal information and use them in ways that they don't want you to. So we do a couple things with at Moving Tracks. We don't track MAC addresses, which are the unique identifiers in every phone and are needed to connect to Wi-Fi or Bluetooth peripherals. Some marketing software uses them, but we don't. Just because it's easy to doesn't mean we should, and so we really want to make sure that the MAC address is not tracked. We also don't implement Apple IDFA or the Google Ad ID, which are custom IDs that expire every time you delete a brand's app. So brands can send special offers and telecommunication only when they consent to it. So our users can, but we don't. And that's protecting user privacy from our end. And we have that online, and if you do have a privacy policy, it's good to have that out there as much as possible, and really educate users what your policy is and how they're getting much more value than you're getting for their personal information, whatever you're taking. So I can talk a little bit about PhoneGap here quickly. I'm not sure how many of you have heard of it, but we have a plugin now for PhoneGap Cordova. You can create iPhone and Android context-aware apps using just HTML and JavaScript. So you can write the code once and have it go for Android and iOS. Obviously, we work with apps that are already built, but if you have this new idea and you really want to launch a contextual aware app, you can do so fairly easily with this PhoneGap plugin. And it does have as with everything else, it has a demo app with the full source code available. So unless there's any questions here, we can close out for today.